What's happening? Landlord from Alabama here, back with another video. And today, man, I'm here to make my case that the Cowboys need to draft a wide receiver, preferably in the first round, maybe second round. I know it sounds strange, I know it sounds crazy, but before you do something crazy, just hear me out. This is one of them hear me out situations. I promise you, after I make this case, you're gonna understand what I mean, and it's gonna be hard to dispute it. If you do got a problem with what I say or you don't agree or anything like that, let me know at the end of the video. We could discuss it in the comments. First, I'm gonna build my position and show y'all how big of a need this is when I talk about the current state of the receivers that we have on this football team. First and foremost, let's talk about Exhibit A, Michael Gallup. First of all, we do have an out on his contract. If we cut him this year, we'll save $9 million and we can use that elsewhere. So, given the way that he's been playing, I know we got to realize that sounds enticing, that sounds intriguing, interesting. That sounds like something that we need to do. Since 2021, Michael Gallup hasn't had over 500 passing yards in a season. This year, he had 400 and some with 2 touchdowns, 34 receptions. Nothing to ride home about, nothing to rave about. Those are some very pedestrian numbers. We understand that. But let's just say I'm almost certain that Michael Gallup is gone. Given the fact that we could save $9 million, I think that's a Godfather offer. That seems like something that we just can't refuse. Now, Exhibit B, we could talk about Jalen Tolbert. We picked him in the 3rd round. That was a big time pick for us. We tried to get us some receiver production. The mere fact that we drafted a receiver in the 3rd round in 2022, that tells you that we were searching and hoping that we can get some wide receiver production. Ever since Amari Cooper left out of this building, we've been on a search for wide receiver. That's another reason why it is definitely a need. It really shouldn't even be up for debate. Jalen Tolbert had 22 receptions, 268 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, we love Jalen. We felt like he could do more with a little more opportunity, but we just talking about the what, not the why. Maybe he could have did better if he would have got more opportunities or whatever. We don't know. But we're talking about what happened, and that was not going to get it. We definitely need more wide receiver protection out of these guys. Out of those 2 guys, that's 2 receivers that we didn't get what we wanted from. That by default already pretty much sealed the deal that you need a receiver already. Like, that's in the bank, in my opinion. Now, the one that a lot of people been bickering back and forth with me about, Mr. Brandon Cooks. We already know that I'm not pleased with what I got from him. Like I said, once again, I'm not talking about the why, I'm talking about the what. He did 660 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's pretty decent, but is that top tier level number 2 production that we need to get over the hump, that make it easier for Dak Prescott? Absolutely not, and I stand on that. I stand firm on that. I'm not saying that it's all Brandon Cooks' fault. Whoever thought it was, it did not work to the degree that we needed it to work. We take a look at some of the advanced metrics. We be looking at the open rating. Brandon Cooks was not that great at getting open. He was ranked 74th out of 109 wide receivers. So that says that he's at the bottom tier in yards of separation and getting open on a consistent basis. That's what the numbers say. So that's concerning when you think about that. Now, this one thing I want people to realize and want people to think about. Okay, if you feel very highly about Brandon Cooks, that's your opinion, that's what you say. I'm not here to bash Brandon Cooks. This is not a Brandon Cooks diss track. But I will say this. Tell me your level of confidence. I want you to put this in the chat box. I want you to put this on the comment section or wherever you can put it at. Give me your level of confidence. If God forbid, let me knock on wood, if something was to happen to CeeDee Lamb for 4 to 5 games or something like that, how confident are you into Brandon Cooks being a big time contributor and holding us down in that situation? And that situation right there will tell you everything you need to know about your wide receiver too. So I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't be very confident at all. I'd probably be like a 4 or 5. It'll be very, very low, very, very minute. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's just me. Without CeeDee Lamb, it was CeeDee Lamb or bust. and we don't want to go into no season like that. The only player that should be able to forfeit your whole season and mess up everything, it should be your quarterback and nothing else. And in that same stat last year, Noah Brown was 104th out of 131 candidates. Michael Gallup was 122nd out of 131 candidates. So listen, this has been an issue from years and years. In my opinion, ever since Amari Cooper left, we've been trying our best to search for wide receivers. Think about it. We went and got T.Y. Hilton in the end of the season trying to salvage some kind of wide receiver production. We drafted Simi Fehoko. We drafted Jalen Tolbert. We went and got James Washington. We went and got Turpin out of the USFL. Like, it's a lot of things that we've been doing trying to get receiver help. Martavius Bryant, we just signed him and signed him again this year, trying to salvage some kind of wide receiver production out of these players. This is the reasons why I say there is a need. Ever since Cooper came out of this door, we've been trying our best to replace him, and we've been failing miserably, in my opinion. When we talk about that injury situation, just look at how the Minnesota Vikings was able to withstand the blow from losing Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison came right in and was able to ball out. A rookie wide receiver, got 911 yards. I think he got like 8 touchdowns. And Justin Jefferson missed 7 games. So just imagine if something was to happen. Let's say CeeDee Lamb had a terrible cold for 5 games. Nothing else. We ain't gonna say nothing else. If he had a terrible cold for 5 games and had to miss 7 games like Justin Jefferson, we would be in shambles. Like, this offense would be, you would have to cut it out. So with that being said, you don't want to cripple your offense to that degree. Jordan Addison was able to step in, had 911 yards. Justin Jefferson still got over 1,000 yards. It's enough targets to go around to still have 2 productive receivers. And that furthermore proves the fact that these rookie receivers came in last year and had a big-time impact. And I feel like this year's class is better than what we seen last year. So just keep all of that in mind. Okay, now we can pretty much shift to the draft reasons why we should get a wide receiver. Reason number 1, the defensive issues that we have, we definitely should not be trying to fill those in the draft. Those should be free agency fixes. We should be trying to get some veteran players like a veteran linebacker, veteran defensive tackle. We do not need to be trying to draft a defensive tackle again in the first round. We just did that last year with Mozzie Smith, and it didn't work out in our favor the first year. So now, of course, we don't want to draft another linebacker. We just drafted DeMarvion Overshawn. We got a couple of linebackers. Why not get a veteran linebacker to fill the role that we know that can fill the role? Somebody that's a proven commodity, somebody with a proven track record, who we don't have to hope to God that they fix the problems that we have. We shouldn't be trying to go hope about all of these positions to fill these spots that we need. Whatever happened to a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. So in this situation, the bird in the hand would be a proven commodity, a proven veteran talent to fill some of these positions like linebacker and defensive tackle. The 2 in the bush would be the draft people, because we don't know exactly what they're going to offer us. We don't know if they'll come in and fix our problems. Go and get you a Bobby Wagner. Go and get you a Devin White. Some of these other veteran linebackers, and let them come in here and fix this defense to the best degree we can in free agency. Okay, with that being said, the positions that we do need in the draft is pretty much not too many players that's ranked in those categories. Like, if you want a linebacker number 1, you wouldn't be able to get one because there's no linebackers graded that high. It's also no defensive tackles that's graded that high to be getting him in the first round. You know what it is, it's some wide receivers. It's a rich wide receiver draft. You could probably find you a marvel in this draft. You could find you a phenomenal talent in this draft to be able to power CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee been going crazy all along, basically by himself. The last 2 years, he had no help, and he's still been going crazy. You know what you do in a situation like that? Give him a little more help so you can take some pressure off of him. If you pair him with a young, talented wide receiver and go for what you know, especially some of these guys that you got in the draft right now. Now, I like both of the guys out of Texas. I like Adrian Mitchell and Xavier Worthy, one of those wide receivers like that. I know Adrian Mitchell, he's a taller wide receiver. He can do a lot of things. And somebody like Keon Coleman, somebody like Leggett out of South Carolina. Man, listen, I ain't saying spend a #1 pick on these guys, but if one of these guys that you just absolutely in love with, Troy Franklin, don't just sit at 24 and just let them pass you by. Know what you do, be aggressive and move up. Trade some picks from next year, trade some players. You can do anything but sit at 24. We've been sitting at 24 for 3 years in a row, and we just been taking whatever they give us. We are not acting like a contender. That's my point. So if we are a real contender, we really feel like this team is close, 12-5 for the last 3 seasons. If that's what you feel like we are, why don't you use and move with some urgency? We act like a team that's in a rebuild or something. We just send back and not getting nothing to improve this football team, not taking no swings to drastically get us over this hump. Instead of just sitting at 24 like we did for the last couple of years, now it worked out with Tyler Smith, but instead of just sitting up for 24, how about be aggressive and trade some capital and go up and get a guy that you absolutely love? Quit trying to wait to the 3rd round, the 2nd round. In that draft that we got Jalen Tolbert in, do you know it was no other wide receivers who was even that good after Jalen Tolbert that got drafted? That right there alone tells me that you waited too long in that draft. You waited that long to get anybody in that draft, and all the rest of the wide receivers was pretty bad. Romeo Dobbs was the only one that came out of that draft that was after Jalen Tolbert that was even worth mentioning. Everybody else either had a equal year to Jalen Tolbert or a worse year than Jalen Tolbert. So that right there alone tells me that you waited way too long to get a wide receiver in the draft. Why take that chance this time around when you got the cream of the crop at the top of this draft? You got several wide receivers that can come in here day one and impact your football team. Now, I feel like I covered a lot of bases. One of the only arguments I seen somebody make was to say, oh, we can get a wide receiver next year. The wide receiver class next year look good. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but why would you sacrifice a whole year? Because I'm telling you, these wide receivers that we have, if we go into this next year with these guys, it won't work out. We need to boost this up. We need to give Dak more help. We need to give CeeDee Lamb more help. So maybe they won't have all this pressure on them when the times get going, when the rubber meet the road. You got somebody that can take a little pressure off of them. We seen the little dispute they had during the playoffs. Maybe, just maybe, if he had somebody else that we can count on, somebody else that we can throw the ball to, maybe that wouldn't have did us so bad and hurt us so bad in the beginning of that game. But I'm telling you right now, even if you love Brandon Cooks to death, you only got him for 1 year next year. Why not go ahead and re-up and boost up your wide receiving core? Give your all-pro MVP candidate Dak Prescott another wide receiver weapon to boost up his confidence, to make this offense run even better. I'm telling you right now, that would be something great to do. Now, anything other than receive in the 1st or 2nd round, I'm not too mad. You could probably get an O-lineman. Any kind of O-lineman, I'm not going to argue with you. But I promise you, I would be very, very sick to my stomach. I would be upset if we don't get a wide receiver either in the 1st or the 2nd round of this draft. In this draft in particular, I feel like we'll be missing out on something that could be historic wide receiver draft that we'll miss out on, just like we missed out on the running back draft last year with getting one of the shortest players of all time and all of that. So, but that's all I got for you today, man. Just holler at your boy, Landlord from Alabama, with the same handle on all social media. And like I say, 1K, 1 love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.